Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Johnny Davis Live. That's right, guys. We're here today on this Friday afternoon here. Looking forward to talking to a couple of people today about all the things we have going on in the great sport of Muay Thai and kickboxing, some of the things that are coming, and we have a blast from the past, right? Looking forward to talking with a four-time world champion, Fernando Calleros. He has a really, really exciting story. I should say exciting and interesting and real, right? If you want to know kind of what it is to be a fighter, number one, and maybe some of the other things emotionally, psychologically that you go through in being a fighter, he's going to talk a little bit about it and, going to be pretty real here, guys. So I would say that if you got little kids, we're not going to get too deep into it, but, it's going to be kind of a real conversation. So hopefully you guys will check in with us on that because it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, we're going to be talking to the incredible, the outstanding Kru Paul. You guys know her for all those great videos that she does all the time and teaching Boran, Amui Boran. She does seminars. She has a club over in New Bern, North Carolina and everything. And that's just so she's going to talk about the event that she has coming up, I Care Point Muay Thai and kickboxing event she has coming up on May the 4th there in New Bern, North Carolina. So we have a lot of stuff going on there. We'll also be talking about, obviously, some of the other upcoming events that are going on. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Blackout Gear for all they do for us, and Eastern Offset Printing out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. Blackout Gear can be found at blackoutfights.com. They have great stuff, guys, great headgear, shin guards, boxing gloves, hand wraps, all that good stuff. If you want some good gear, you can go to my website at akpromotions.org, and we actually have a Blackout Gear store right there for you to purchase all the stuff you need. Again, protect those tools, right? That's what it's all about. So definitely want to check out Blackout Gear at blackoutfights.com, and again, Eastern Offset Printing. So we have a lot of events coming up. Quickly, actually, I'm on my way a little bit later today to Columbus, Georgia, where we have an I Care Point Muay Thai and kickboxing tournament there with Mr. Joseph Creer. It is his first event there. It should be a lot of fun there. We had him on the show last week. Great guy. Had a lot of good things to talk about and all. And so we're going to be heading out there just a little bit for that semi-contact I Care Point Muay Thai and kickboxing sparring tournament tomorrow at the Bat Apple Gym in Columbus, Georgia. So if you guys are in the area, definitely want to come and check that out. Doors open at 9 o'clock for at-the-door registration until about 11 o'clock. And then you will we're going to start the competition. It's going to be fun. We have everything in place there. Our EMTs, everything is in place, ready to go. Mr. Joseph is certainly, Joseph Creer there is definitely waiting on you to come. We have some pretty good participation in advanced registration. By the way, advanced registration will go off tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. Then after that point, you'll be able to register at the door. As I said, on next weekend, also this weekend in Santa Cruz, California, we have Mr. Jordan Dodge, who we also had on last week. Will be having his I Care Point Muay Thai kickboxing event. This guy, I was talking to him last night. He already has 130 fighters, so he's probably going to be cutting that off about now, right? I mean, we're going to have a great, great event over there as well on tomorrow in Santa Cruz, California. Just events going on across the country. As I said, May 4th, Kru Paul will be talking about her event, and other events are going on in San Diego. We got May 18th, May 25th. Every weekend we have something going on. Check out the website at akpromotions.org. Okay, so quickly what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick little conversation with one of our guests here today, Miss Kru Paul, who has been very active here. She has a club also in New Bern, North Carolina. So we're going to see can we bring her on there. I'm going to bring her on solo. Oh, yeah, right. That's got to be her right there because she looks a heck of a lot better than I do, right, guys? All right. That's what it's all about, guys. So Miss Kru Paul, how are you doing today?
Hi, I am doing great. I'm doing great. Very excited about event, and I'm glad to be up here again, of course.
Where are you right now?
I am at Nine Limb Strikers.
Oh my gosh!
And that's where you guys gonna be next weekend.
Right. It looks great. You have all of this stuff going on in the back there. I mean, that looks pretty impressive. I
thank,
mean,
thank
I
you.
mean, that looks really, really good and everything. I mean, it's just, I think that it is something that I think a lot of people will be very surprised about how nice that gym looks. You know, and you know, you really take really good care of it. You know, I think you're doing a great job there. Tell me, how is the club doing overall?
Well, first of all, thank you for my team. Though they come in, they get their workout, they have the best workout, and they put their gears away. Um, there were days in the week, you know, we finished workout. It was a great workout, great practice, and you know what? Let's cool down. Let's stretch out. The
Right.
stretch out routine was, you know, sweeping the floor and mopping it, right? Floor, and I would let them know, like, hey, don't leave your DNA here, please. And we, you know,
Well, I think that's a little tricky. I don't know. I don't know about that one. That's a really, really tricky kind of thing going on there.
yeah.
You kind of, you know, it's almost like Karate Kid, where you discipline them, you know, at the same time they're doing work, right?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, like I keep saying all the time, you know, I'm having such a great team. That's only reason I have, like, you know, nice facility. Keep it organized all the time. You know, it's time and effort from everybody. I cannot do that by myself, of course.
Right, right. Well, you have a beautiful gym, and we're looking forward, obviously, to being there next weekend. Hey, you know, on yesterday, Kupal, we had I had a video up on my website, and it had a fight on there about this guy over in Thailand that was really kind of taking a beating, right? I mean, a pretty brutal beating, and he took like 50 unanswered shots, and then all of a sudden, you know, he comes back and he knocks the guy out. But he took 50 unanswered shots. I want to ask you, because you're from Thailand, is
Uh,
that normal?
uh, it's pretty normal to me, and you know, I saw your post a little bit, and I scrolled down. I watched the video that you sent me yesterday. It was brutal. Yes, it is. And what I take out of it is not the brutal, or you know, the rules and everything. What that video taught me is, no matter what, like, hit you in life, no matter how bad it is, keep going, keep doing your best, and you never know what's gonna happen. And that's what I take out of the video. uh,
Well, I understand that, but let's take it to another level here about safety, right?
say
Uh,
yes.
that fighter, I mean, like somebody mentioned in the thing, he's never going to be the same.
No.
I mean, so is that what we're promoting? I mean, as a promoter, I don't promote that. That is really, really violence. And I think it's dangerous. I mean, the guy, who knows what kind of problems he might have had after this fight. I mean, is that typically, because I know that our friend JT came on and said, well, that's what Muay Thai is all about. Is it really?
No, it's not. I mean, I could say yes and I can say no, right?
Okay.
Um, and I have to say that I could have stopped for a little, you know, a little bit and let the doctor check. All right, I think that should be mandatory. Let the doctor see first. We are not the doctor, so let them do their job. Um, and as for the fighters, in Thailand, it's very different than over here, and I kind of see why what's happening there. Um, Growing up fighting, I pay my bill. You know, I pay my bill out of gambling money.
Wow.
So, you know, I do get paid from my fight, but a lot of majority of the money I made is from gambling. So I cannot back down.
Wow.
You know, that's how I'm gonna pay my bill, how I'm gonna pay my school. You know, that's how my family gonna live. So I am not willing to back down until the referee said, you know, hey, you're good. You know,
Wow.
the fight have to stop.
Wow.
Until then, I will not. That's the mentality.
Wow.
Everybody, you know, have to be on the same page. Um, that's how I will raise and fight. You know, so for me, I live in America. It might look like, well, wow, that's very brutal, but at the same time, you know, I kind of see what's happening there. It's
Right. Well, you do also understand that that's not something that I don't think. I mean, again, me as a promoter, I just don't think that's something I want to promote. Not to that level, because I promote the sport and the art, right? And everything. But anyway, but thanks for your perspective on that, because I know you were born and raised there. And again, we can talk more about that on another interview. I'm going to kind of dedicate most of the show to Fernando today. But I do want to ask you a little bit about your tournament that's coming up on May 4th. Tell us a little bit about the IKEA PKB sparring tournament coming up next Saturday in New Bern.
Yes. I hope that's on your schedule already.
Yeah.
Sign up, please. Go sign up. I would like to invite you to Nine Limb Strikers. Get the team coming out here. It's nice weather out there. Plan your weekend. Join, of course, community, and we live next to the beach, so if we are not far from the ocean, make sure that you plan on that one as well. I saw that some people already signed up. You said there.
Yes. Yes, we already have some pre-registrations and more probably coming in.
Yes. I'm excited to see everyone. Hopefully, it's turned out great.
Yeah. Well, I think it will. I think all of your tournaments in the past have turned out really, really great. Also, you're offering these seminars to bring Thailand back to you. We've been getting a few calls on that and everything. We haven't really knocked one out yet, but I think they're coming. People are definitely anticipating. I'm telling you, this young lady right here knows her stuff. She's an assistant Buran instructor, if you will, grandmaster, I should say. And she really knows the fundamentals of Muay Thai and the art of Buran Muay Thai, Muay Buran. I think that's the correct way to say it. And so if you definitely want to learn a little bit more about what it is like in Thailand, and you're not able to go, can't go, whatever the case is, all your people can't go, bring Thailand to you with Crew Paul. All right, Crew Paul, thanks so much for being on today and everything. And I look forward to talking to you real soon, okay?
All righty, thank you.
All right, thanks, Crew. Bye-bye. Nice. There's Crew Paul there. She is getting ready for her tournament coming up there on next Saturday over there in New Bern, North Carolina. As you can see right there in the top screen there, we have the one and the only Mr. Fernando Calleros there, who we're going to go right into it. We're going to have a little chat with him. This man is a 4-time world champion. He's done a little bit of it all. And this is why I want to talk to you, Fernando. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. How about you?
I'm doing fine. And the thing is that, I kind of want my show to be broad, right? I want my show to cover a lot of aspects of the fight game. I've had doctors on here. I've had transgender people on here talking about their transition. I've talked about, people who have been in prison, done drugs. I've had people that have talked about, a senior program called Rock Steady, where they teach for Parkinson's disease. I want my show to be diverse. Anything that goes, have a doctor on here talking about, dehydration and different things. I want to be the Oprah Winfrey of Muay Thai and kickboxing and talk about, because you know what? My mindset is that I can talk about anything. I don't care, religion, whatever you want to talk about, hey, I can talk about it. So I want my show to be open for that and to be able to, talk about different things. And I hope that people will, get a taste of what this is all about, maybe even more today because I know you have a real life story. And I want people, to hear exactly what went on in your life as a fighter, because you were a darn good fighter. Let's be very clear on that. And look, there were great times, there were some tougher times, and even tougher than that times. So we're going to have a real life conversation and everything. But Fernando Calleros, tell me what's going on with you today, my brother.
Well, I'm doing great, man. I've been doing great for the past while. I do want to say this. I'm very proud that I won 4 world titles. But you know what? I have an announcement. I have a disease. I have a disease of addiction. Okay. And you know what? I'm just as proud or more proud that I do have that disease. And the reason why is I'm able to help others or do my best to help others tackle this horrible disease that affects millions and millions of people around the world.
Right, right.
And
Well,
they
I
go
think, you know what? I'm glad. I mean, listen, this is what I'm talking about. Real talk, you know? And a lot of that talk is about, you know, affirmation and about admitting and accepting the fact that you have a disease, right? And we're going to get into that just a little bit later. But before I get into that area, I want you to kind of go back a little bit, Fernando, and tell us a little bit about who Fernando is. I want to hear about your family life. Because I understand there were some things that kind of went on there early on. I mean, we're gonna have some time today. You and I are gonna have a chat, man. It's gonna be real, right? So tell me a little bit about your childhood and your family life.
Well, I grew up in a lower middle class family. I have two younger brothers. My parents have been together for about 50 years. Their 50-year anniversary is coming up. So I grew up in what someone might perceive as a stable household. There would have been no reason for me to be a runaway. To become a runaway, get into drinking at a young age.
Well, hold on, Fernando. Hold on. Well, a lot of the listeners here didn't know you were a runaway. I mean, people just don't normally run away. I mean, what were you running away from?
Well, pretty much when I was a early teen, around 14 and 15 years old, I was a little popular in high school, and I wanted to hang out with the older crowd and go to the little parties that were going on around the areas, house parties and so forth. So I started drinking when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And training with Master Bill Packard at the same time. I was actually a Kenpo student and also a kickboxer, an amateur kickboxer at that time. And I was, on the weekends, I was a weekend warrior, so to speak, when it came to the negative end of high school drama, I guess, if you want to call it that. So, my family, I have to say this because people don't understand that. And I have to bring addiction into it. And I know that we're going to talk more about it later. But the reason why is because a lot of people perceive addicts as a junkie underneath a bridge with a paper bag drinking a bottle of something. And it's not that. I came from a like I said, a lower middle class family. Both parents worked. They're still together, married for close to 50 years. And I had no reason to start drinking. So pretty much it was more of an acceptance type thing. I guess I wanted to be accepted in high school. And I made some bad choices, started drinking, started fighting. That was my thing. I'd do little fights with other school athletes at the little places we'd go to. And when my parents finally dropped the hammer on me, I started sneaking out the window. Then they caught me sneaking out the window to go to the parties. Well, then what ended up happening is I ended up running away from home.
Wow.
I started working at a young age at Taco Bell, actually. That was my first job. And I would just work and go to school and party on the weekends and still go train with Mr. Packard.
Wow.
And what's interesting about that is my parents had me come over for dinner, and it was kind of like a setup. They had like the police there, and they ended up taking me to a detention center.
Yeah, they call that an intervention.
An intervention, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, we could call it that. And after 30 days there, I was surprised when they called me out to the judge, and Mr. Packard, Mr. Bill Packard, my trainer, my mentor, my friend, my father figure. Not only did he bail me out, he had me go live with him. So I actually lived with Master Bill Packard for a while, and working at his karate school at the same time. And that's a whole other story.
Well, I do actually want to. Well, I'm going to just kind of let this thing go.
Absolutely.
We're going to just talk, right? So you brought up Bill Packard, someone who was a great trainer, someone who I knew, I met at least once. And tell me a little bit more about your relationship with Bill Packard. He was out of New Mexico?
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico
Okay.
was our headquarters school. His organization was AKK Karate USA. At the time, he had 65 franchises throughout the United States and in Mexico, but the headquarters school was actually in Albuquerque. It was a 3-story building. It was just a huge facility. And we taught kickboxing, boxing, and AKK karate. So at the time that he had me living with him and working at the karate school, teaching the kindergarten karate and so forth, I was able to interact and teach at a young age. But also there was a group of martial artists there, older martial artists, black belts, that also taught from him. And, unfortunately, Now I'm at a better state of mind where you can't put blame on anybody. Your actions are your actions.
Right.
However, I was led to different things. I'll give you a good example. We would have huge black belt tournaments, or actually karate tournaments in general. So, I was led we would take some of the tournament money sometimes.
Wow.
You
were stealing.
We were stealing, absolutely.
Wow.
That's not the only things we did, but those are things that help create what I became. And and I became a great fighter. Actually, not great. I think I was a pretty good fighter, not great. Ramon Decker was great, but but I did become a great criminal at the same time that I was training and teaching all the traditional values like honesty, courtesy, respect, discipline. So I was pretty much a hypocrite. Now, I don't know, like when people talk about people, they always say, this guy was a great guy. This man was a great man. Now, were they really? How were they a great man? I always ask, now that I'm older, I want to find out because, there was a lot of black belts, including myself, that were teaching all these traditional values and discipline and so forth. But yet at the same time, we're out drinking beer when the bell closes.
Right.
Where we're stealing from Mr. Packard. I've done a lot of shitty things, man. Now, I know I'm not a bad person, but I've made some mistakes, and I started at, 14, 15 years old. And, and when I started fighting for Mr. Packard, it changed my life. But at the same time, I also kept the criminal element to it that I learned with some of the people that I was involved with at that organization.
Tell me something, Fernando. I mean, since we're talking about Mr. Packard, he's gone now. You've changed your life.
Absolutely.
What would you say to him today if he was here?
Man, I'd probably...
I told you it was real talk, brother.
I don't know what I would say. I would just hug him. He was the greatest man I knew. And I don't mean just as a martial artist, just as a trainer. This man, all the years that I knew him, he didn't cheat on his wife. He never lied. He never stole. He treated everybody with kindness. And he was just an awesome man, an awesome individual. And I mistreated him. I mistreated him by stealing from him. He took care of me, got me apartments, got me cars. And I just, I feel real bad for the things that I did over the years. And
so is it part of it that part of your redemption and part of the change that you have while, you said you spent a little time in prison, was that time to really kind of reevaluate your life? And was he a big part of that, of the man you are today?
Well, yes and no. I got to tell you, I've been to prison 2 times, Mr. Davis, and for everyone listening out there, I went to prison in the year 2001. I did a 2-year prison term, and during that time, Mr. Packard and actually his son Jared came and visited me a few times, and he told me when I got out that he still wanted to help me change my life, and I think that the influence that man had, it gave me a strength that I can't explain. Being in prison and just living life in general. I guess the best way to answer that is, I think if Mr. Packard would not have been in my life, I would have been dead.
Wow.
Absolutely. I would have been shot. I should have been shot many times. I've done a lot of things, and, fighters don't get paid like boxers, like MMA fighters. Well, now at least.
Right.
Back then I was getting $1,000 a fight. The most I ever got was a total of $15,000 when I fought Dwayne Ludwig for the K1. And that's top of the
yeah. Food. That's the unfortunate thing about, kickboxing, that there isn't a lot of money, but everybody doesn't necessarily choose a life of crime either, right?
Right. So you're absolutely right. And at that time, and and that what I would tell a student of mine, I would say, hey, you're using justification right there. And I was at the time, and now I'm just saying it just to say what my mindset was at the time. So I'm fighting these fights, and I'm fighting I'm fighting Saimi Bupa, I'm fighting Malapet, I'm fighting all these awesome fighters, and getting paid $1,500, $2,000 a fight. And I got involved with some credit card fraud. Most of my charges have been credit card fraud, pretty much, and bank fraud. And
well, before we leave Mr. Packard completely, it was another fighter there and I appreciate you being so candid too, Fernando. This is awesome, and I certainly feel your emotion on this. But he also had another fighter there that I had a special relationship with in the ring there for one night, Mike Winkeljohn, who is now one of the top UFC trainers there for people like, I think it's John Jones and some other folk. Tell us a little about Mike, your relationship with him, and what is he doing today other than, training fighters?
Well, Mike does, he is involved with the John Jones training camp, but also his other greatest athlete that he produced was Holly Holm, who knocked out Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
She's a 10-time world boxing champion. She beat Christy Martin and a lot of well-known female fighters over the years. So
yes, I've had Christy Martin on the show.
Oh wow, yeah, she was a good fighter in her time.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Winkeljohn and we had a relationship over the years. I helped him train for many fights, and he helped me train for many fights. He was my main sparring partner for many years. And actually, Greg Jackson, which is his partner at Jackson Winkeljohn, he was actually my jiu-jitsu instructor. Yes, I did do jiu-jitsu. I'm not just a Kempo man.
I know, right?
I just keep that a secret, you know what I mean? But
I know, right?
Not anymore. But he taught me a little bit of jiu-jitsu when he had his school, and somehow Mike and Greg linked up over the years, and that's how they, ended up having this gym and becoming the pretty much the best MMA gym in the world, in my opinion.
Were you there? Were you there the night that he and I fought?
No, I wasn't there. I was sparring with him for that fight.
Oh, shame on you. So you were trying to set me up, right? Hey, so man. Wait a minute. What's going on? I got this guy on the show who was trying to beat me. He was up there helping another guy to knock me out. What is up with that, man? What is the world coming to, people?
Come on, man. He should have known better. He went in there with Johnny Davis, man.
No, it was a lot of fun. It was a good night and everything. Mike's a great guy. Still like Mike today. I haven't talked to him in years. But I remember when he started after we fought, he was transitioning. He was coming back. He was getting more into the leg kicks and more into the, other kind of fights and stuff like that. And he was just transitioning into something totally different. While you were fighting, tell me a little bit about the 4 titles or the titles that you did win. I see Mr. President of IKF is on today. He likes you, actually, Fernando. He recognized, wait a minute, but he recognizes some things that have not always been good. You fell out a couple of fights. Since he's on right now, what would you like to say to Steve Fossum?
Man, Steve Fossum, I love you, man. We've been all over the world together, man, and we've had some great times. And, I have nothing but love and respect for you, Steve, and your organization. And I just love what you did for kickboxing in general. No one could ever dispute that. I think that you're an awesome human being. And I love you. Right.
Well, I'm sure he'll be glad to hear that and everything. That's awesome. Tell us about some of the titles that you won, Fernando.
Well, I won it was called a CHK Muay Thai, full Muay Thai rules title. I won that in Macau, China, a few years back. I fought a guy from Australia. His name was Steve Misich. The promoter was Carter Wong. You guys remember him from Big Trouble in Little China. He's his head explodes. His head just blows up and explodes.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, just like a lot of us fighters that aren't well known on the mainstream, I got to experience things like that all over the world, Buddhist temples and training with monks and so forth. But then I won a world title, the WMTA world title versus Satoshi Nozuma from Japan. I won, an ISKA world title, and I also won an IKF world title, my most favorite one.
Right. Now, so who did you fight for the IKF world title?
Miguel Reyes. We did.
Good fighter.
was a good fighter. We went the distance. I knocked him down in the first round. Man, that boy was tough, man. He kept coming and coming. So it wasn't an easy night for me, but I got the decision. It was a good fight.
Right. And ultimately, that was all about. You said you had a fight with Raymond Deckers. Tell me a little bit about that story.
Well, man, I just gotta come clean, okay? I haven't done this. Okay, well, first of all, you remember VHS? Do you guys know what VCRs are out there?
Yeah, right.
Well, when I was training as an amateur kickboxer, Mr. Packard had this little TV out with a VHS, and we had some old videos. And coincidentally, all those videos were Ramon Decker, and I just thought he was a beast. He was my idol, and so forth. And I only had 9 pro fights, and when Mr. Packard said, "Hey, you want to fight this kid from Holland?" And I said, "Sure. What's his name?" Ramon Decker. I said, "Damn, man." I didn't want to. What's it called? I didn't want him to. I just really respected him. I said, "Yes, sir, absolutely. Let's go." And when I got there, man, I was in awe of the guy. And I made a mistake. I'm tired of tiptoeing around it. Look, man, I took a dive.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
Man, I took a dive, man. I'm sorry, my family and friends out there.
Why do you say you took a dive? Normally, a dive is something where somebody tells you in advance that, hey, this is what's going to happen, and I need you to lay down in this round or whatever. I mean, is that what you're saying, or you kind of got hurt and you said, I'm done?
Well, yeah, someone did tell me, myself. The you inside me, the you and the you told me, "Hey, man, you're going to get your ass kicked. You better, but no one really told me. I was just back there, and, the few kicks he hit me with, I just felt the supreme power that he had. And
right. So
I got scared, man.
So it's not so much that you took a dive, it's that you gave up.
I quit. Yeah, I gave up, man.
Okay, right. Listen. Everybody quits sometimes. I mean, but it is what it is. But Ramon Deckers was a beast. May rest in peace. But he was an absolute beast.
He was 25 years old when I fought him. I fought him right in his prime. He already had 200 Muay Thai fights, and there we go, justification again. I took a dive.
Well, you gave up.
Hey, man, look, if I didn't fall, he would have beat me anyways. I don't know if he would have knocked me out, only because I have never been knocked out. I've never been knocked out in the gym, outside the gym, or in the ring ever. I don't know what that feels like, but hey,
let me explain it to you. You don't feel a thing. I can tell you how it feels. My last fight of my career, we've been talking about Manson Gibson, and his video, matter of fact, is over 2 million views right now in about 20 days. Which is pretty exciting. With Bad Brad Hampton also is getting a lot over 500,000 views. But in my last fight, I got knocked out by Manson Gibson. And let me tell you something. You don't feel a thing. So if you've never had that experience, don't worry about it. It's like going to sleep and waking up. You don't remember anything.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what, that I did it wrong, because I felt his knuckles on the side of my head. And
right.
I just said, bye, I'm gone, man. I'm gonna lay down here for a little bit. But yeah, am I proud of that part of my career? Absolutely not. But you know what? That's what happened, and that's just real, man. I took a dive, and if we would have fought later, I still think he would have beat me, but I think it would have been a better fight.
Like I said, I think being honest is really important in this game. But tell me, what do you think the biggest lessons that you learned from the fight game?
Well, like I used to tell my students, the fight game to me, and still, even when I look at fighters on TV, it's life, man. The training, the every aspect that goes with a fight, all the way up into you step into the ring. I could pretty much tell you what a fighter does outside the ring just by looking at the way he fights inside the ring. It tells you a lot about a person. I think the ring, and pretty much anybody else that's fully involved in their sport, can tell you a lot about their character, a lot about their life outside the ring.
So you think you learned a lot about character in there?
I did learn a lot about character. I learned a lot about myself. I wasn't aware that I was learning about myself until later on, when I started looking back at the way I fought, I hardly trained for a lot of those fights because I would get called for 2-3 days notice type things to go to different countries because someone got hurt. And I wasn't trained, so I learned how to use my energy, learn how to relax, learn how to absorb punishment, and then sneak in my little hits. Just like when I was doing my little criminal activities, I was sneaky. Then I'd go for, the big shots. I can go into it in detail, but that would take way too long. But you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Davis.
I do, but I want to kind of stay on the fact that when you said something about looking back. So there was a time in your life when you were in prison that gave you reflection time.
Absolutely. I reflected. I got in trouble a lot in prison, so I did a lot of time in what they call the shoe, which is basically the hole, where you're by yourself inside a cell, and you have nothing to do. But
wait a minute. You were fighting in prison. Did you fight? Well, you get set in trouble. Were you fighting in prison?
I was fighting in prison. I was, there were.
Wait a minute. So what you're really saying? You were using some of the prisoners as your sparring partners.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Well, I'm just a little guy.
We got more truths coming out right now. Hey, you had some prisoners out there say, yo, man, I didn't know I was his sparring partner.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, I surprised a few people when I was in prison. I'm not proud of it, but I was happy that the self-defense did work, or self-offense in some.
That is crazy. Well, as you said, you've been through a lot of things, and a lot of us have been through things. In the process with the addiction and prison and things like that, it requires forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive most?
Well, look, I think what anybody that's gone through anything in life, forgiveness is for yourself. First and foremost, it's not for the other person, it's for yourself. So you have to forgive yourself first and foremost, or you can't move forward. That's the key to forgiveness that a lot of people don't grasp. They ask for forgiveness from their spouse for being unfaithful. They ask for forgiveness for lots of other things like that. However, they don't forgive themselves, and it just creates a living hell inside your own mind. I believe that we are the creators of our own happiness or our own discontent, and it all comes from our mind, if that's what we want to call it. So was that the biggest part of the recovery for you? Do you blame your parents somehow for how things came out for you? Absolutely blame my parents. Let
me ask you, what kind of lives were they living that you blame them for that somehow affected you later?
They did not do anything wrong at all. In my perspective, I'm going to go ahead and just say, like when I was younger, I was molested. And I didn't know until later on that it affected the way maybe I became a fighter to protect myself.
I get it. That's real talk.
Maybe I needed acceptance. There's a lot of things that go into addiction. You can't you need therapy. I went through all that stuff, but my parent, I blamed, to give an example, like my parents were leaving me at certain places where I was molested when I was younger. Wow. I blame my parents for letting me stay the night, or having cousins stay over that molested me. But what ended up happening was, those are just things that happen in life. And I know that if my mom and dad knew what was happening, they would have done anything in their power to stop it. And
are they still around today?
Absolutely, they're still around. Like I said, they're going up to their 50-year anniversary. They're both 66 years old. They're beautiful people. They're both still working. And I had an opportunity recently to talk to my parents both about what we're talking about right now. And that's
what I was going to ask you. Have you spoken to them about it?
Yeah, and it was very emotional, as you can imagine. They want to know names, and and I told them, I said, this is what I did, Mr. Davis. I let go of the pain of my past. That is the key. I surrendered. Right. And when someone surrenders and they let go of the pain of the past by forgiving themselves and truly forgiving others and letting it go, it took 1,000-pound weight off my back. So that's what I tried explaining to my parents. I said, I love you both very much. And I know now that you would not have allowed those types of things to happen. But yeah, I blamed you. I blamed you for this. I blamed you for that. And I believe that it affected the way that that I thought, but I feel better now, and I think better now, and I act better. See, this is the thing. When people talk, there's people that talk these beautiful words. They come out, and I look at all these videos and all these beautiful words are coming out. But where is it doing? I use my feet now, Mr. Davis, and everyone. I use my feet. I use my hands. I use my body. I do the do now. You got to do what you say. You can't just ask people to say what you do. I mean, to do what you say and then not do the same. And that's a problem with like a lot of these.
Are you saying that a lot of parents are hypocritical? Hypocrites in the sense that if they say you shouldn't be drinking while they're drinking, or don't smoke while they're smoking, or don't run around while they're running around. I mean, is that what you're saying? And then they're basically, in essence, they're teaching you.
Absolutely, and this is the thing I got a lot, well, the difference is that we never got caught. We never got caught drinking and driving. And that's the difference. I'm like, well, at the time I used to argue that type of point, but I don't feel that way now. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. A lot of parents are hypocritical. A lot of martial arts instructors, a lot of teachers, a lot of coaches, a lot of life coaches. You got to watch out for life coaches and people that there's a lot of hypocrites out there. This is one thing like the saying, knowledge is power. That's a myth. Knowledge can be powerful, but you got to do it. You got to use it. You got to get involved. You got to, so things like that. Common sense pretty much doesn't necessarily mean, common action. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, one of the things I noticed that you said some things, you were kind of getting into that. You kind of done some motivational speaking. So with the lessons and things that you've learned in your life, obviously you got a great story to tell. Today, right, you're a different person than you used to be.
Absolutely.
And you are speaking to people about your life as a lesson. Tell me some of the things that you're telling them to better their lives today.
Well, before I say that, I got to tell you something else.
Please.
What I don't like is when there's people that have been in my position and they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about that my story is not for myself. My story is for everybody else. My story is to help someone else. Maybe someone else has been molested. Maybe someone else, these are learned behaviors. Maybe someone else showed me how to roll a joint. Maybe someone else showed me how to drink. And what we got to do is we got to dig deep and understand. Hey man, the complex nature of the mind is just crazy.
Right.
It goes up and down, all around and everywhere.
Well, people try to walk with this veil of, hey, I'm perfect and nothing's ever happened to me. I mean, already today, you've come out with the fact that you've been in prison, that you've had some molestation issues, that you've had, you've done some other things. And the bottom line is that story, this is going to change some people's lives. You understand? What you're doing today is going to be viewed by hundreds of people, if not thousands. And it's going to change somebody. Somebody's going to look at this and say, look at him today. He's a better person. It's going into that. Tell me about who you are today.
Well, who I am today. Well, I got to say something else. My name, I go by Fernando Calleros, right? But my first name is actually Angel. So it's Angel Fernando Calleros. So I go by Angel these days. And that had a lot to do with my past. I used to get teased in school with my name. And so I had to work through that. But I go through Angel and I feel a lot better. I try to do my best. I try to take the best version of myself and I try to do by action. The way I treat my stepchildren, the way I interact with my family, with my friends, with people in general, the way you speak. So I hope that I do or can reach, even one. But if I could reach more than one, that'd be great. Because, yes, I was a 4-time world champion. Yes, I loved going to bars, drinking beer, fighting. I was in prison. I was fighting all the time. I was a tough guy. But you know what? Man, I was molested. You know what? I've been beat up before. You know what? I've been made fun of. I've been picked on. I've been pushed around. And those are things that a lot of us go through, and we got to speak about it. The key is you got to talk about it to strangers. Talk some more. Talk to people, just talk it out till it gets lighter. Forgive and let go. That is the key. You got to surrender to the pain of your past if you want to move forward in life. And it has changed me completely, Mr. Davis, and everyone listening. It has made me a more I'm kinder, I'm more gentler, and I love people, man. I just love people. I love interacting with people. I love talking to people, and that's why when you asked me about this interview, I was excited because yes, it was about kickboxing, but kickboxing and martial arts is life, man.
Yes, it is. It's very much like people have no idea some of the things. And look, I got a story to tell. I mean, everybody has a story to tell, as I said. And but I want to use this platform to bring people like you on, and whether they have stories like this or something different, I think it's something important for people to hear. And I'm really thankful for you coming on and telling the story. I got a few more questions for you though, Fernando. So tell me some of the greatest moments in your life as we go into a higher note here. Some of the best things that ever happened to you. I know all of it hasn't been bad. There's been some great things. You got some good people in your life today. I see this beautiful lady that you're hanging out with. Come on, man. Tell me about it.
Well, first I got to go back, and my greatest was watching my firstborn, Angelica born. Come out, you know what I mean? Hey, that was the greatest moment of my life right there. And I've had some big wins. Unfortunately, the biggest moments in my career, kickboxing, I won titles. I just so happened to fight Danny Steele 3 times.
Yeah.
And poor Danny, he fought me every time I was in super shape and just getting ready for something.
Right.
So, I won 3 good titles fighting him. So, those were some great moments. Rachel, my fiance, man, that's a beautiful woman right there, inside and out. And that's probably up there with the greatest.
Well, she seems to be a great lady, and the fact that she's supporting you, knowing some of the things that you've been through, she's supporting you all the way through that. What does she do? What does she say to let you know that she supports you? She got your back.
Man, well, she trusts me along with her kids. I'm able to, do things with finances, being in bank fraud.
Sure. Right. That's real talk.
She basically gave me one of her credit cards, if I ever needed to use it, just different things like that. But, the thing is, she saw through the veil, I guess. And, and that's what a lot of people can't get past sometimes. And she's just an awesome individual, and she makes me know that I'm wanted and that my past does not matter. And
wow.
She's able to, because on paper, everybody on paper, it looks real bad.
Right. Right.
It doesn't look like I'm a good human being. And like I said, I've made a lot of shitty decisions, but I'm not a shitty person.
Right.
So
what is it looking like going forward for you, Fernando?
Well, Rachel and I are getting married here soon.
Oh, congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm moving from El Paso, Texas to Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's pretty much my home, man. I mean, I love El Paso, but Albuquerque is my home, and there's no place like home. I want to travel and do seminars. I also do sales seminars as well. So sales training seminars, and also, they have the title life coach. I really wish there was a different title for it, but
right. Yeah.
I like talking about the mind. I like talking about the no mind, the body, vibration, meditation, and so forth. Different things like that, and the doing, you got to do, there is a bridge. This is the problem. And I get so frustrated, as you can see. I get so frustrated with all these videos I watch and books I've read. There is a bridge between your visualizations and your actual goal that you're trying to meet. And the bridge is work. You have to do the work, man. You can't just wish yourself $1 million. It's not going to appear. I don't care how many law of attraction books you've read. You have to do the work, everybody. You got to align your thoughts and your body to your goal, and then work towards that goal, and it'll come. That's the real law of attraction. There is doing, and the visualizations, and the reaching the goal in a straight line. That's how you do it.
Okay, Fernando. So here we go. So you've gone through this terrific life so far. When I say great life, great does not necessarily always mean good. Great means magnitude. A lot of people think when people say great, they always mean good. Great also means magnitude, like the great earthquake. Right? That's not a good thing. It's just the magnitude of it was great. You've had this great life. But now, the genie comes out of the bottle, and he can give you the power to turn back the hands of time, if you will. What would you change?
You know what? I wouldn't change a thing, Mr. Davis. I wouldn't change a thing, because right now, at this moment where I'm at this moment, I love myself. I love where I'm at. I love the gifts that were given to me. All my past pains, all my past hurts, all my past triumphs have led up to this moment, and I'm able to help others. So I wouldn't change a thing, man. You know what I mean? I just,
Wow.
not one thing. I'm in a good place. I wouldn't want $1 million. I wouldn't want to change that I went to prison. I think all those things have created who I am right now, and I like who I'm at. I like where I'm at right now. Internally, that's the key right there. Internally, I'm at peace. And now that I'm at peace, it literally feels like there was a damn 1,000-pound weight lifted off my shoulder. And living life like that, hey man, you know what? If we have a lot of money, if we have a little money, if everything's just okay, I'm happy, man.
Wow. Wow. Well, man, I think this has been an awesome testimony. And I think it's going to certainly change some people's lives. If we close out the day, is there anything you would like to say to any particular individuals out there, anybody close to you or far? It'd be a good time to maybe say it now.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, my mom and my dad, I love you guys very much. And I hope that you see that I talked with sincerity. I spoke with my heart, and I love you guys. And I don't blame you guys for anything. I love you very much. My daughter, Angelica, I love you very much. Mr. Fossum, hey, man, if you're still watching, hey, mucho amor for you. I mean, that means a lot.
Right.
Mr. Davis, thank you so much for having me on. But I'd like to shout out to the entire recovery community. There's millions of us out there. There's a lot of us that have changed their life. Now, there's also some that haven't, hypocritical people, they're just like anything else, but the ones that truly put down that demon of addiction. And when I talk about addiction, Mr. Davis, I'm not saying only alcohol, and I'm not talking about drugs. I'm talking addiction to chaos. I'm talking addiction to drama. I'm talking addiction to food, addiction to sex, addiction to cheating. When you find a way to calm that dragon down, you will see that, there's a whole other world out there. I don't have to wake up hungover anymore, Mr. Davis.
Wow.
I don't have to go look for a line of Coke every now and then. I don't have to go out finding other women to make me feel accepted and to justify that, the cheating that, or stealing or lying. It just feels a lot better to embrace honesty. And I just love where I'm at right now. And I hope that my message reached at least one person.
Well, I think it really did. And I'm really grateful for you, Fernando, for being on the show. I think you have some great things, good things that are ahead of you, young man. I'm going to say young man, because, we have different chapters in this life. We have different quarters in this life, from 1 to 25, from 26 to 75, from 76, and it goes on. And right now you are entering the third quarter. And the third quarter of your life right there could be the best time of your entire life. We live life. We shouldn't get worse. We get better, right? Because we learn lessons, right? And as a result of that, now we can take and compact all of that knowledge and experience, right? And now we can be the best person that we wanted to be all along. This is opportunity for you, because really some people, unfortunately, will get in the third quarter and start making some of the same mistakes that you've already made.
Well, if they want to go through all those horrible things,
right.
I wake up every morning, Mr. Davis. I wake up with Rachel. You know what we say? We pray a little bit. We do affirmation stuff. I say to the Creator, God, the creative forces, just give me some more patience, tolerance, and gratitude, man.
Right.
I ask for gratitude. I'm just so grateful to be here and grateful for where I'm at right now. And man,
all right, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard it. Thanks so much, Fernando, for being on the show today on Johnny Davis Live. I think you're going to change a lot of people's lives, brothers, and I wish you All the best. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right. See you later, brother. All right. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw it right there for yourself. Speaking to former four-time world champion Fernando Calleros. He's had some tough things going on in his life there, from drugs to molestation to prison and all. But he's also coming back. He's a motivational speaker. He's living life. He's on the right track, getting ready to get married. You know what? Redemption. That's what it's all about. Never, ever give up. I don't care what happens to you. Things are going to always come your way. Things are going to always trip you up sometimes. But it's not about how many times you fall down. It's how many times you're willing to give up. Get up. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. Another edition of Johnny Davis Live. We want to thank again our sponsors, Blackout Fight Gear and Eastern Offset Printing. Always, guys, always, and particularly for you, Fernando Calleros. Forward march. This is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out. On my way to Columbus, Georgia, by the way, for tomorrow's tournament. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.